be me. Live in High River, Alberta. Mountains are only an hour's drive away. Me and some friends decide to go camping out in Kananaskis, near Canmore. Call them Iron Bro, Tracker Sis, and Stoner Sis. Iron Bro is a metal worker. He's a big guy, close to 6'5". Easily the strongest of us. Always carries a buck knife that he forged. Tracker Sis was raised in the mountains. She knows every animal, and their every habit. Can find even the smallest traces of animals, and can track them like a damn expert. Stoner Sis is a great cook. Carries weed on her 24/7, but that is for her glaucoma. Me, I'm just some Metis friend. It's late September, so the leaves are starting to change. Cold weather hasn't quite set in yet, so we won't be too cold. Take our truck out past Longview, heading towards Kananaskis country. Lots of trails right off the highway where we can hike. Allowed to camp anywhere that we would like. Choose a spot across the bank from the Highwood River, about 12 or so kilometers away from Canmore. Despite the proximity, it's really quiet. The tree line is still thick and continues like that all the way up to the mountainside. Park the truck and grab all of our gear. Iron Bro and I carry the tents. Tracker Sis has our map and her hunting rifle in case we find any animals. Grizzly bears are especially common this time of year. Stoner Sis has the food and our clothes. We trek for about 3 hours. Find a nice cliff face overlooking the highway below. Can easily see our truck. Nice and sheltered from the winds blowing through the peaks. Looking around our chosen base, we find some trees that have been bent. Large poplars. They look like they're leaning against each other. 5 or 6 all in a bunch. "What are you looking at the trees for, Anon?" Iron Bro asks. He and Stoner Sis are already setting up the tents. Tell him about the way the trees are bent. "Probably just left over from the snowfall last year." Didn't think much about it. Iron Bro seemed right. Tracker Sis wasn't convinced. Tells us she's seen stuff like this north of Red Deer, and over near Burnaby in BC. Locals say it's just an odd phenomenon. Local First Nations say it's from the Sasquatch. "Sasquatch, get real." Stoner Sis laughs. Tracker Sis just shakes her head. She might not believe, but she respects the legends enough that she listens to the First Nations elders. I remember my grandfather talking about them. He said they were peaceful, but that you should avoid their territory if you can. We continue setting up camp. By the time we're done, it's close to dark. Gather around a bonfire and enjoy a nice, quiet dinner. Lots of jokes, lots of fun. Stoner Sis offers some weed. Only Iron Bro has any. Tracker Sis wants to stay sharp in case of bears. We tie up the rest of our food high up in a tree, about 12 feet off the ground in a nearby maple. Bears won't be able to reach it. Next day, get woken up by Tracker Sis. "Anon, wake up! Something tried to grab the food." Hurry out as Iron Bro wakes up Stoner Sis. Sure enough, the tree with the food has some newly broken branches, with what looks like claw marks higher up on the trunk. Luckily, the bag of food is undisturbed. "Maybe it's a black bear," Iron Bro reasons. Tracker Sis agrees and says that we should try and tie it up higher tonight. Stoner Sis and myself go for some water. There's a stream not far from our clearing. We have all the gear needed to purify our water. Beaver itch is common here. Walk to the stream and start filling our larger jug that we brought with us. As we do, I notice the branches in the trees. They're all broken in the same direction. I stand up to take a closer look. All the branches are about 10 feet off the ground. They all point in the same direction, away from our campsite. Remember my grandfather's words. If you see branches broken together, the Sasquatch has marked its path. Stay the way it points, because all else is their territory. Return to camp with Stoner Sis. Tell the others about the branches. Iron Bro is confused, but not worried. They're just broken sticks, Anon. Trackersis is unconvinced. I've seen branches like that. They mean something bad. I confirm her statement and tell them what my grandfather told me. Iron Bro is still skeptical. Sternesis finally speaks up. When we got the water, did you feel weird, Anon? Weird how? Like someone was watching us? Think back on it. Looking at the branches, I remember the hair on my neck standing up. I remember the birds stop singing. And birds only stop for a predator. Couldn't be us, they continued as we were there. Something else must have come. I involuntarily shiver. Something was there, Sternesis says again. Trackersis and I are now thoroughly unnerved. Iron Bro is still doubtful, but he looks more than a little nervous now. Decide to stay near camp for the night. Darkness falls again, and we're around another fire. We're a little more at ease now. As we're talking, we hear a sound in the distance. Sounds like someone knocking on wood. It's echoing through the mountains, so we can't get a good idea of a direction. It knocks 3 times before pausing. After a minute, the knocking happens again. We should knock back, Iron Bro jokes. Trackersis shakes her head adamantly, says it's a bad idea. I already stood up and grabbed a large stick that was in our woodpile. I approach the tree with the food and start knocking in return. Like the first noise, I knock 3 times in return. Wait in silence. The knocking happens again. Iron Bro laughs, and Sternesis has a small smile as well. I knock again. The knocks return. But this time, they're joined by a scream. I've heard lots of animals before, but this was entirely unfamiliar. Elk, wolves, owls, bears, humans. This sounded like none of them. It was primal, bestial. It echoed from where the knocks came from. Trackersis is now very scared. I recognize that sound. Ask her what it is. She just stands slowly. That was a Sasquatch. Says she heard these calls in BC. None of us quite know what to say. Then we hear the call again. It sounds more agitated, like it's expecting an answer. Should I call back? Anon, don't, Trackersis says seriously. It could be bad. Very bad. We hear another call. This one is close. 50 feet behind us in the bush. We hear it. It's practically bellowing, and it shakes right through us. Iron Bro is now incredibly scared, holding Sternesis protectively. Sternesis is halfway through her 3rd joint, and is unable to comprehend anything but her own fear. Trackersis grabs a rifle, reflexively. I back away towards them, clutching my stick. We hear the call through the mountains again. Then the thing closer to us bellows back. It's gotten closer. We can now hear it coming through the underbrush. The leaves are crunching under its feet, gently. Then, we can smell it. It's like a deep musk. Think wet dog meets pure testosterone, mixed with a harsh skunk. None of us know what exactly to do. It sounds big, and all we have is a single gun, 1 buck knife, our hand axe, and a stick. Whatever this is, probably wouldn't feel any of that. The movement stops, and we hold our breath. It's now only 10 feet away. Just outside the light of our fire. Just inside the bush. For a moment, silence. Then the calling in the distance starts again. This one is longer, more purposeful, like it was summoning something. The thing across from us bellows back, but now it's stamping the ground. It pounds the ground with its feet and hands before shaking the trees. We wait for the worst. Then it starts walking away. We wait and listen to see if it comes back. After about 20 minutes, we hastily retreat inside of our tents. Morning couldn't come fast enough. None of us slept at all. None of us dared to. Next morning, I'm up first. I go and check out our campsite. The food is still undisturbed, but the tree it was in was thoroughly shaken. This was a large maple. The trunk had to be about 2 feet in diameter. The roots looked like they were being pulled out. They were exposed and the earth was thoroughly beaten. Tracker Sis and Iron Bro joined me soon after. Stoner Sis doesn't want me to leave the tent. She's too scared. I don't blame her. We find no traces of anything else, other than some broken branches. And a tuft of hair. We seal that away before returning to our campsite. Decide it's no longer safe to stay here. We pack up faster than I could have imagined we would, and we set out back down the trail. The whole time it feels like we're being watched. Not just by one thing, but by multiple. I scan the tree line, see if I can spot anything. But I see nothing. The birds are quiet again. Once we reach our car, we dive inside and drive into Canmore. We spend the rest of our trip out there in a local motel. Anyone who asked why we left just gets told that we saw a large grizzly, because they wouldn't believe us otherwise. We headed back to High River not long after. Tracker Sis is now cautious about going into the mountains again. Iron Bro and Stoner Sis have moved in together. Their wedding is in a few months. Both now strongly believe in Sasquatch. I got in, called my grandfather when I got back. Left a message for him about what happened. He called me back immediately and sounded more scared than I could ever imagine. Says we were lucky that there was one that close and that we weren't hurt. Advises we camp in a larger group next time. Or at least bring something else to defend ourselves. We sent the hair we found to be tested. We haven't heard the results yet. All of us believe in a Sasquatch now. We all kind of want to go back. Despite how much this ordeal scared us, it would be cool to see one, you know? Sasquatches, man. Fucking Sasquatches.